Yes, yes, Joel and Johnny Boy be bold and hope you had a wonderful weekend and welcome back to the fastest freaking show in MLB absolutely anywhere with your fucking boy. Big Johnny Stein, yo, coming to you worldwide, Brooklyn, New York, as always. Coming out that damn chair as always. Let's freaking go, man. Got a nice unplug yesterday, hung with the fam, bowl the fuel game, sitting down to watch WrestleMania, and all of a sudden I'm like, my fucking ass is killing me, and my right forearm is killing me. That's what happens when you're old. That third game. Plus, it's getting competitive. We're terrible bowlers, so it's like a race to 100. My gosh, I'm hurt, man. Being old sucks. Enough of that shit. More of this. Follow me up on Twitter at John the Gazer. Flow, sharper than a razor. Same handles over on Substack, where $2 a week gets you 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound box. Find out what all the hubbub is about. Go check it out. You get pinned posts, have samples and shit. Check out the Twitter feed and the show. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for the support over there. Please make sure to hit the stupid like button or whatever. It matters way more than it should. Comment, because that shit matters way more than it should. The last thing anyone talks about is like, hey, is the show good? Nobody cares. Bad interaction. Whatever. It's an algorithmic world. Comment up in there. Rose baby. How we doing, my friend? Good morning, crew, and to you as well. Enough of that shit. All right, more of this. It's the best part of waking up. Pitching sheets in the mug. 10 games today. However, we do have the Patriots game today. That's the famous 11 o'clock Fenway extravaganza, driving my West Coast fantasy, brethren wild. Don't forget, I'm in a high-stakes Survivor League. Get those fucking picks in, because depending on the league, you could get auto-picked. All that stuff. Make sure you're doing your lineups. Usually for fantasy, you could go up to the first pitch of that game, but make sure you're not sitting, get your pitching right. So we'll come back to Detroit and Boston. I don't know, this is so stupid. Flaherty versus Gray. Next up, this one is really interesting, right? It's a battle of the awesome Italian nicknames, as Spencer Arrighetti hold the Meatballs and the Astros minus 103 on the road in Forest City to face Slade Hachakane and the Guardians. Man, Arrighetti, it was pretty rough. He's really dealt with injuries. He came out last week or whatever, and holy crap. Oh, man, he went freaking nuts. He was awesome. I just happened to have an extra minute this morning. I was popping the hood. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, right? We want to keep the show on the tracks, but really important to notice when these guys are making pitch mix changes. Arrighetti, they retooled the entire arsenal. Right now it's curveball first, then sweeper before four-seamer, and it's so split left to right. I'd just say he has two totally different arsenals. Arrighetti versus righties is going sweeper, sinker, curve. And, that curveball is really nasty. So is the sweeper. And then to flip it around to the lefties, completely different. Then it's curve first, change, four-seam, cutter. So when you see guys with arm talent make these big changes and you see the results, it becomes a little bit more believable. Houston offense has also been awesome. Slade Ciccone, man, he was pretty hot in the fantasy streets leading up to the season. The command and the control is really good. We love guys with low whips, but he might have benefited from the left on base stuff because the fastball is not very good and he throws it too often. That's always going to be a problem, in particular when you're up against a team like the Astros that are hitting. Now, usually you see really rough splits, but what do you see is a lot of home runs. So when he's missing right to these lefties, he's getting yoked. Again, Ciccone really doesn't have the put away stuff. Off to a rough go this year. We have 2026 only. All the colored stuff is 25, 26, and then we'll work our way back. We'll soon isolate, and then I'll leave a 25 only board up for everybody, just for a little bit of reference. We're starting to split offense. We have L7, no splits. L14 is all split, so is year-to-date. Soon we'll have 30. Those will split. I mention it because when I default versus righties, I'm going to put L14. Right, you can see where, over 300 plate appearances, maybe 400. When it comes to lefties, I'm going to go year-to-date. Remember, everything is built for speed. You could just fucking scroll. teams in red are facing lefties that day, so you get a really quick idea. Again, this is built for professionals that are at least 1/4 serious about this shit. Again, support good people doing good work. Please help me keep the fucking lights on, will ya? Will ya? Houston offense has been really good. Just kind of doing everything, even if they've been a touch slow as of late. We know that, again, the talent is there. Without Pena, I guess they're hurting a little bit. But I don't want to say I don't care, because I'm not really buying the Guardians' offense as of right now. Now, again, Houston has been hiccuping. I don't like to overreact to the L7, because overall, there's such strength, right? You can see Houston is just not striking out. They get on base. You get extra base hits. You know, they're kind of working counts. Both teams over 4 pitches per plate appearance. I just think I like Arrighetti a little bit stronger on the pitching side. Oh, quick note on bullpens. If you look up at the screen, the 2025 stuff is now gone. We have 2026 last 2 weeks, 2026 year to date. Just again, to give you an idea, you really want to be looking probably more at year to date. I probably should have this flipped and then we'll reflip it. But year to date stuff in bullpens, excuse me, I like mentally derailed. Yeah, it can just get you in trouble because injuries and usage changes, like prioritization going on. Sorry, this took entirely too long to do this game, but laid a little bit of the groundwork for what everyone can expect. Algo says. Ta-da! All right, I got Houston for a pretty clean win. I'm really surprised to see the minus 103 price, especially that Cleveland has the frying pan. That's your cooked bullpen emoji. Gaddis 2 of 3, Sabrowski 2 of 3, Armstrong 2 of 3, and Pallett through 30 pitches. Not that that's discludes you from going, but usually that 30 pitch mark, you're not going to get up the next day. So, yeah, this one I don't really get. I probably could have been a little bit faster because I want the Houston side for sure. I wonder if that line has moved a little bit. I've been using MGM to do my full game board reads. It's at least been reliable, if anything. Yeah, I got minus 105. 08, give me Houston to win it. Next up, it's Rhett Lauder. He's on the bump for the Red Legs. They have the bullpen emoji. Minus 105 on the road in Florida to face Jesse Skoltens and the Flat Fucking Fish. Now, I have to take my L's where they're due. Sometimes I think we see names that we don't recognize, and it's easy to LOL them. You know, some Jesse Skoltens, some guy named Jesse Skoltens. And, like, until you look, I mean, he's been pretty damn effective in the starter innings he's given us so far. Like, he's been, doing the tomahawk 360 slam right in your grill. So, not that I'm ready to put the cart before the horse. This is some kind of like world beater. But again, that's why we do have the stats, because 250, 111 ERA whip combo is strong. But as you go further and further, there's a lot to like, right? The indicators are there. He's getting strikeouts with swing and miss. Now, I think it would be a workload thing. I'm going to check that for you right now. You can see I have some wonky stuff because those totals are as a starter. He hasn't started. But he's giving you a full load. So, again, the nuance and context that kind of drips out of your nose incidentally, if anything, right? Skoltens went 4.2 scoreless, then went 5 scoreless. So he's been following in a bulk relief role. However, 61 and 77 pitches thrown, respectively. So he's been super efficient. I don't know if you can always expect that, but he's been good. Other side, Rhett Lauder, I love. He has all the pedigree and stuff. I don't think we've seen the full kind of maturation. I'm expecting more K and swing and miss stuff, but he's been falling behind. That's been an issue, pitching to a little more contact than I thought. He's been good at suppressing contact, to keeping the ball in the yard, always important in Cincy, even though they're playing at the Trop. Man, I like Lauder a lot more, but again, we got to kind of pump the brakes on Skolten because, right, don't you have to give the Rays, the offensive edge? I keep forgetting the damn timer. Not like you're writing home about the Rays offense, just terrible across the board against righties. Last 317 plate appearances, bottom three in everything. Reds not much better, but at least they get barrels. At least they don't chase where the Rays are chasing. At least they take walks where the Rays don't walk. But everything else for the Reds has been pretty ugly, though a 255 BABIP is going to fucking crush you. Well, 420 plate appearances on 420. Take a puff. Oh, man, I'm really caught. This is where I get stuck because I want to back like my guys, and I'm just looking for a reason to, but very hard to find a reason to back the Reds. Maybe if this one is 4.5, again, I'm in F5 hell. That's like a new plane of reality for me. I wonder if they're just effing with the board. Like I said, I just can't find like live F5 stuff right now without click. DraftKings has it, but they do it on purpose. 5 million clicks to find it. I'm looking for one board. Odds Trader does a pretty good job. They have 4.5, so that's going to be the play for me. Will be Cincy, Tampa, F5, U 4.5. That's at a standard price right now. We want to avoid the bullpens. They both have the damn emoji. All right, I'm going to try and hustle this one up. It's Michael McGreevy on the bump for the Cardinals. He's been excellent. -105 dog. Keep an eye on the bullpen emoji and then also on that orange block. The orange block means a team has a 3.5 team total. I mean, we just putting it all out there for you. This thing is like boom, 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 right? If you have a life, if you have a job, unlike myself, this is it. You know what I mean? This is it. You don't have to build fucking anything. The machine is there. Just get in the fucking cockpit and take the fuck off. I'm telling you, it is huge. And just the clarity it gives you to not have to do it. You know where everything is. This is why I built it, because I was tired of every day, who strikes out? It's just do the work, lay it all out, and then everything else will kind of come to you. So McGreevy versus Meyer, that's Cardinals and Marlins. Meyer, I liked. He's been off to a slow start. McGreevy, I always thought of it's a Cardinals guy, right? It's contact. You're hoping for control with low whip because of ground balls into double plays. That's worked. It's really worked, and he's been excellent so far. 21 2/3 from McGreevy, 249 ERA, 0.83 whip, 4.4 Sierra, 11 KBB. So we don't want to put the cart before the horse for a Cy Young run, where Meyer, it's been rough, and it's kind of rough on the underpinning. Maybe he just hasn't taken that step. I don't know, man. We like the ground balls, when we like the control. He just hasn't seemed to been able to put it all together. I don't know. I kind of blame the four-seamer. I don't know why I always think these guys are freaking lefties. They're not. They're righties. So let's go 14. St. Louis and Miami. Excuse me. St. Louis kind of reverting back to what we thought they might in the beginning of the year. Archetypically a team with good discipline, high contact, although the contact's been low of late. I think that will correct. The power stuff has been gone. I do like the pull-heavy approach, but without the line drives, you're going to kind of struggle everywhere. That's why the X-Con is so low, despite the high pull. Marlins' offense has not been great, though the approach is really strong for a young team, and Style Cowers is back. That would be the Kyle Stowers spoonerism kind of making its way. Marlins bullpen has overperformed. Cardinals bullpen has struggled. And I mentioned the emoji on the Cardinals. This is a disaster. O'Brien back-to-back. Romero 2 of 3. Stanek 2 of 3. Soriano 2 of 3. Graceffo 2 of 3. And Brule 2 of 3. Like the entire bullpen is on watch. So as much as I might like McGreevy to get it done against a struggling I have no confidence in them to slam the door. Maybe Miami wins it. I'm kind of leaning on maybe another under here. Maybe I like St. Louis at 5, depending on the price. Man, but I'm a little torn. All right, I'm gonna put the two of them, and I want to keep the show moving. I do this to myself all the time. So I like the Seattle F5, where you have the model score, but it's a smidge. I like the F5U 4.5, even though the total is a Contair over 4.5. They're both at 2 1/3 or below. And there's a lot of 2 2s, 2 1s. And you hope the occasional 3 is met with the more likely 1 or 0. Yeah, the answer is probably the under. I do this to myself all the time. I try and force the pitcher I like when there's not a ton of offense. So let's go same play. We're going to go for not a lot of scoring today, at least early on in the evening. For what it's worth, all these games start at 6 p.m. or less. All right, let me try to start the timer at the beginning. Here we go. Bryce the Elder on the bump for the Bravos. They've got the bullpen emoji, and the wind is blowing in, right? Wind in. Trying to make it easy with the 3.5. Oh, no, that's Washington with the 3.5 total. They're on the road against Jake the Snake, Schwerv, and Irvin, and the Nationals, whose offense has been really good. Feels like an inflection point today for Elder, who I have perpetually faded to my own despair. This year, the underpinning stuff that we were always kind of citing and looking for regression has, gone the way of the dodo, and Elder right now is like, I don't know, one of the best pitchers in the fucking game. I guess it's going to regress. I mean, it has to from where we're at, but what I meant was I'm getting away from my narrative, right? So even if he's not as good, he's still only 26. And if I'm not mistaken, they made a pretty significant pitch mix change for Bryce the Elder as well. And now everything is just kind of falling into place. He is pitching to contact, but he's impossible to get a hold of. You're getting a ton of weak hit ground balls. He doesn't really walk hitters. And it's kind of taken off from there. As far as the arsenal that I had mentioned, he was a single first guy, which we hated. Another thing we were citing. He's throttled the shit out of that pitch. Now he's going all sliders. And that pitch is freaking awesome. Big time spin, big time whiff with a 178 X slug as a featured pitch, 38%. Yo, you got to be wheels up on Bryce Elder. Again, tangible changes that make you move your opinion. You're not flip-flopping. To me, that's called fucking critical thinking. Schwerv and Irvin on the other side, he's been a damn gas can. So again, inflection point for Elder and the Nats, because the Nats offense has been awesome. That team total has been a damn ATM. Now, it's funny, it's not really showing up in the stats so much. And that's what's so interesting about the Nats. It's because they run, right? And they're always on. They're like aggressive. Now, the disciplinary stuff has waned a little bit. Last 7, again, that's not where you want to look. You want to look for the bigger samples and discipline for the stabilization, because they don't swing and miss. They don't strike out. They make tons of contact while being aggressive, hitting the ball hard, extra bases, and then they'll steal. I also think James Wood is like I don't know, my boy Kyle. Make sure you're following all the Source Network guys. He busted my balls for this on the pitching side. MVP vote getting ceiling, right? Doesn't mean James Wood's going to win the MVP. Very hard to be the MVP. But I feel like a finalist. He could be like a top 5 MVP finalist. Abrams is playing out of his shoes. He's another guy with crazy potential. You have that 1-2 punch. You're going to do things. Now, again, it's all about Elder. I was worried about Iglesias for the Braves bullpen, even though he was hurt. It was a shoulder thing. I was fucking getting ready to collapse. He came back, got the save, looked sharp. I guess he's all right. He said he slept on it funny. I guess he's telling the truth. Nats bullpen has been the real issue, so I think that's how you put this one together. I think we're over on the full game, right? Getting 9 frames from the Nats. Even though it's going to be tough to get it from the Braves, you have to believe that Nats are going to get something off Elder. If not, I'm assuming the Braves team's total is 4.5. This I can't go mind right now. I want to. If the Braves team total is at a normal price, let's call it minus 130 or cheaper, even 135, I think that's the play we want, because we're getting the 9 frames. We don't have to believe in Elder, who's just due for regression, even if we believe in him. So I'm going to put Atlanta team total, because again, I think Irvin kind of sucks. I think the bullpen kind of sucks, and even with the wind blowing in, I don't want to overreact to that. It's pretty much accounted for in the price. So Atlanta team total 4.5 on my pricing. I'm going to put TBD. I'll make sure to fill it in before I post. Next up, Kyle Horse Bradish on the bump for B More and the O's. They're on the road minus 116. They're a slight favorite against Seth Lugo and the Royals with cheese. Wind blowing out in Kansas City. 4.5, 9 total. They're just really quick. That's a good example of the wind stuff. The reason the emoji is there is I don't want you to overcount. I don't want you to see that we're close to 9, but the wind's blowing out, so you need to go over. No, that's with the wind. Our model is right on the total, which again is pretty much a good validation. Though I would say, even though my betting has not been great, we're still in the combine, haven't lost a fucking dollar. We're always in front of CLV, and that's how you grade these things. I've been checking daily with AI. It does such a great job of doing the math. Like it can just, I don't like letting it think for me. I will let it do data for me, right? Large data sets. And we're on the money. You know what I mean? There are going to be coin flips where you just don't get, and it comes down to these decimal points. Understood. Bottom line being, don't double count, because that's the easiest way to get yourself in trouble. Derek Hardy says it all the time, right? He's like the projection quant on Earth, and people do it all the time. Oh, but what about the wind? He's like, he wants to be nice, but look, do you really think he didn't count the wind? So, same thing. I put the emoji, so you know. Price feels a little off right here, frankly. Bradish feels like a pretty nice edge on Lugo. Lugo is a good pitcher. I think he outkicked the coverage those last 179 innings. You could see lack of swing and miss, the lack of chase. Without elite control, where at least Bradish has crazy put-away stuff. Much better at suppressing contact. I think the Orioles' offense is a little bit better. Now, Bradish has struggled out of the box, and Lugo has been really damn good. Not sure I'm ready to jump at this yet. We're right at that cusp, right? We're right on the cusp of 2026 data. So if you're not buying what it is I'm selling, do the thing. That's what you could do, in my opinion. I still think it's larger sample set time. And unless there are crazy red flags, I don't want to panic. I want to get my hands on the Bradish game log, because if I'm not mistaken, did he give us a really good one? All right, he gave us 2 okay ones. He got hit on the way out the door. He ended up giving up 4 through 6 at Arizona, though he just walked 1. So I think the big start is coming. It hasn't been trash. It's just been a little rough, right? Bradish is running a 375 BABIP this season. I mean, that's pretty brutal. And he's walked a few too many guys a little bit out of character, so I don't want to overreact. And maybe I don't want to poo-poo Lugo, who, again, I think is a very good pitcher. I just think the Orioles are the better offense, though maybe that doesn't reflect so much in the last 2 weeks, though I guess it's all relative because the Royals have been atrocious. We do like the elevation bin is starting to click up. Lots of line drives, lots of fly balls. They're hitting the ball hard, though not pulling. That's always been a bugaboo for them. Royals batting 185 as a team versus righties. Last 308 plate appearances. Last 7 just as ugly, not to be outdone by the Orioles, but the Royals have a fucking 60 WRC plus in that span. Just atrocious. I mean, is this like another under? Bullpen edge goes clearly to Baltimore, and I think that's the thing that pushes me over the edge. I think Baltimore is so much better at the end, and I think we have the potential for the really strong 6 from Bradish. I'm worried even if you get a strong 5 or 6 from Lugo, they don't have what it takes to get the Orioles. And if I'm not mistaken, also, Lugo has had issues with lefties in the past. Yeah, you can see 829 OPS, last 424 batters faced, way too many home runs, 2 homers per 9. Orioles have some strong lefties. So I'm going to put O's to win it with my boy Horse Bradish getting a dub. I'm seeing a minus 113. So please, everybody, shop this stuff around. Don't be the person that says it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It most certainly matters. I don't mean to be willy-nilly, but I gotta be brief. All right, let's wrap up these last 4. We're making pretty good time. I went a little bit long on a couple, but again, it wasn't a full slate today. Don't forget the Patriots game stuff. And don't forget to support good people doing good work. If you enjoy the show or the data or the fantasy stuff, remember there's waivers that updates in real time for daily players. or you're DFS player, or you're just a swell guy, support the work. It means the world to us. The company creator relationship right now is broken. It's just a sign of the times. And if you want to support people, the best way to do it is, direct support. And again, $2 a week. How much work would you do for someone for $2 a week? I mean, I'll do a little bit, but probably not much, right? If I said, I get this job for you, it's a couple hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm going to give you $2 total. Or, wait, say again? Yeah, exactly, you know what I mean? Next up, Aaron Nola and the Fighting Phils, 114 on the road against Colin Rea and the Baby Bears at home. I want to work this one backwards because something perturbed me. Okay, it was the game totals without the crazy wind I expect. So, again, I don't say, I know better. This is when I'm like, something is wrong, right? That's how we want to be thinking. I've got wind right to left. It is, say, 11. It's kind of cold. But I wasn't really worried about a full-on total blast, total decimation of the total. I thought this one would be at 8 where I am. So I think that's probably my play. I'm not really big on Nola. 5.63 ERA, last 116 and 2/3. Though the disciplinary stuff has been strong, and we should have been looking for some improvement, sorry to make you cross-eyed. But he has been okay, still suffering from the same thing. Nola's always been a victim of hanging that curveball, and when he misses, it's so bad it always goes out. And then Rea, I think, maybe has overperformed, though he's another guy that I don't think gets enough credit from the public, right? When you don't have the swing and miss. I don't like the contact plus inability to get called stuff over. That's always been a bugaboo for me. Phillies offense has been really whack, however, right? But. You could see the underpinning stuff is starting to shake, man. They're making contact, and it's lift with pull and hit hard. 384 expected WOBA to contact versus righties. Last 277 plate appearances. That's better than the production they've been getting. That's not a 650 OPS. That's not going to sustain with the talent. Cubs have hit. And again, I'm a little short on the total. I guess the bullpens have been good. I'm not sure I necessarily buy them with Palencia down and fucking Duran down. Right? So both teams on this game are missing their ace closers, and they're still rocking a 7.5 with contact guys that are likely at a disadvantage to the hitters. So let's go over to 7.5. Let me check the price. Maybe we get a cheap 7. Sometimes we're off, and it is what it is. No, it's 7.5 minus 118, so that's actually a slight lean towards us seeing an 8. I would get on this sooner than later. This has a chance to close 8, especially once this show is out. I mean, that's just what it is. So we go a full game, FGO, and what I say, 118, which means you might be able to find a minus 115, but it also might start to head towards minus 125, which is the last step before the entire thing moves. Next up, Justin Wrobleski for the Charlie Dodgers. Man, I've had such a bad run betting, and it's been my own fault just not executing the best show picks. And I know this because people are sending me green screens that are not mine. One was the Colorado team total, right? The 3.5 team total versus fucking Sasaki or whatever it was. That was such a stupid line. I didn't hit it. And you know what else I did? You know what else I fucking did? Idiot fucking me. What an idiot. I was talking about the Washington team totals. That was the play we had. I put Washington money line. That's what I printed. And it was supposed to be team total. So there's even manual execution errors that happen, which fucking sucks. Those are the ones we really have to stay away from, though they do happen. Man, I've just been poor at executing the best parts of the show. The winners are here, but just I haven't been able to smash them. So I'm still waiting to go live because I haven't been able to string together a 10-day profitable session. Though it's all been like a unit or 2 units, again. But that's why I love the combine, because it helps you set the table for the season, and it gives you the confidence right before you go in. I'm telling you, I have saved so much money putting myself through betting and trading combines. It's probably the best free advice you're going to get just about fucking anywhere. People pay lots of money for that shit. So I could talk through this game without talking about the actual game, because you don't want to waste your fucking time. It's Robleski and Quintana. These are the worst to bet, because we not sure if the Rockies are going to do anything, because Robleski is filthy and they kind of suck, right? The Rockies offense is trash, but they're home. So we like it. And they've been home for a bit, which we also like. They're facing lefties. Their split against lefties is atrocious. They have just 6 extra base hits and 145 plate appearances. That's a .064 ISO. They're striking out 31% of the time. That gives you an idea. This is where prop players love the offensive sheet so much, right? You see the teams in red. You scroll to the left. Then just scroll over to the disciplinary stuff. Rockies strike out a ton. Blue Jays, for example, facing a lefty. We'll talk about them next. They don't strike out at all. There's your K under. Rocky, there's your K over. And just go about your fucking business. So this one is a tough one to believe in the Rocks. This one feels more like the Dodgers run line, but it's -2.5 and it's -130. The total is -11.5. That is patently insane. I'm almost at the point where if this hits 12, I may fucking go under that shit, which is totally crazy. I know you're not supposed to do that. I know. Ducking fucking tomatoes like Fozzie Bear over here, but it's the truth. So this one I think you should just leave on the cutting room floor. The Rockies bullpen is even good. This is too many mixed signals. This is a case of the book just tempting everybody to go under. Yeah, motherfucker? Yeah, you're going to go over 10? How about 10.5? Huh? You going to go over 10.5? You want to... And that's how it goes. People are just smashing fucking overs where I don't... It's not automatic. Right? It's not automatic. And Quintana and Robleski just might be the type of like thorn inside pitchers that get it done. Just saying. What does that mean, everybody? Translation? Dodgers win 14-0. So, Rockies team total, done. Unders, done. And the cover that I called stupid was a rousing, success. All right, next up. Dylan, stop, cease, and desist for the Bluebirds. Leaving Canada as -125 favorites. They're heading down to Hollywood, always up to no good, to face Reed Detmers and the Halos. Reed Detmers is filthy, bro. Both of these guys are really good. I mean, there's a chance to get a real gem here on both sides. Now, Cease, it always kind of comes down to the command and control. He's one of those strikeout guys that gets a little bit full of himself. Always willing to walk somebody, confident he could strike out the next one. That walk rate is over 13 right now. That's a major issue. Right? That's not palatable. If he's going to sniff, you're going to sniff the double dig. That's a little different. 10% we could deal with. 13's no good. Cease at 8 is a damn ace. He's walked at least 3 batters in each of the last 3. One of them is a 4. That's an issue, right? That's my concern. The thing is, the Angels... Let me see if I can bring it up. Okay, so the Angels actually... I was mistaken here. They have taken walks. I thought that had eroded. I'm mistaken, and I was thinking about somebody else. Yeah, on the whole, Angels have been really strong. So I think we have to put that chip in the bin for them, though they strike out a metric ton without chasing. But that might not kill Cease because he's got a 16 swinging strike across 189 innings. That's bananas. He also gets chases, but that's not really necessarily his game. He's going to have to win in zone, but he's up in the zone also. Man, this one's tough. I'm torn. Man, and the Blue Jays are starting to hit, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check Blue Jays versus lefties year to date. Again, over to the lefty. You check the red. It's been a really rough split, but the total is very low. So just 167 plate appearances. That's one of the lowest in the league so far. The discipline is really good. What else is new with the Blue Jays? But they're not doing enough with it. What else is new with the Blue Jays? Sub 5% barrel, 340 XCon is one of the lowest in the league. That's got to be a bottom 5 rate. .031 ISO. Again, they just haven't performed. I don't have the list of pitchers that they've opposed. But it's not like they're going to be much better than Detmers, who's been freaking filthy. I am torn. I am so torn. Bullpens have been a disaster. Hoffman looks like a gas can. Angels can't get anybody out. Last 44 and a third for the Angels. They have a 6.29 ERA, 1.6 whip, 13% walk, 11.5 barrel. That's 9 home runs. Holy macaroni. That is fucking trash. So I think, if anything, let's see if we can finally put something together. Damn, I didn't realize the totals. I should have realized the total would be 4 on this one. The reason I keep going back to my bookie is I like live lines, and it's not to knock Odds Trader, though they don't pay me. Maybe they should. I don't always buy these line shopper pages. I don't necessarily know if they update quick enough in real time. Bookie's starting to post. The Detroit one is up. The reason I say it is I wanted to check a price on under 4.5. I think that's where I'd be going. If not, I'm not going full game under because I'm worried about the Pens. And I don't know, I like the Detmers play, but the market pretty sharp to that already. This actually speaks to the overall sharpness of the MLB market over the years, where the Cease and the Blue Jays, there's a time where they would have been a minus 155 in this spot, instead of a minus 125 / plus 106, which is just it's not a great price. So I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to, for the show pick, I'm going to put the under that I mentioned, the F5 under, but please caveat this, please. It's got to be 4.5, and it's got to be whatever 128 or freaking better or whatever. All right, I'm experiencing my first lag of the stream, which seems to happen once a day. You know what? Someone told me to. I love it then. Even when I laughed, these fucks told me to unplug and replug. When I spoke to somebody who actually knows what he's talking about, he's a legitimate IT guy, really brilliant. Was like, before you yell at me about unplugging it and replugging it, he asked if I actually killed the power to the main internet source. I don't know if anyone has whatever high-speed Fios. You get this main fucking box. They hardwire over to your router. And even though I'm hardwired from the router, I unplug that. He said you should kill the power source. I hate doing it because it fucks up. You have to reset all types of shit. But all right, that's me complaining about technology. Shaking fist at cloud. JT Ginn and the Atleticos are plus 135 dogs on the road against my boy Emerson John Hancock. Keep those DMs coming, baby. Keep those DMs coming, baby. Emerson Hancock, come on. We got to take our dubs. W for wanker. We got to take the dubs when deserved, and they're legitimate. I was legitimately high on Emerson Hancock and told everybody, that made no sense to me. Emerson Hancock was basically undrafted and for betting, which means, discarded. Bryce Miller was banged up. The spot was open. He's already been the next man up. He's a former first-round pick with tremendous arm talent, pitching for a team that's known to develop. What, because he had a small sample as a youngster? That's the fucking trap. That's the fucking trap. We are better than that, right? It's not fucking madness, people.
This is Sparta!
Fucking damn right, yo. You know what? Speaking of fucking Sparta, let's shout out my Spartans real quick. All the fucking people. I don't even have to look in the comments. AM and Jason and Brian and fucking Steve and Mark. You people like and Underwater Trades and fucking Spoon. My guys, Jay Bird, of course, goes without saying. Brian Elford, come on, guys. This show has come out of nowhere. We're approaching 500 subs, which I know is not a deal breaker. But I'll tell you something. Let me tell you something. I've been, you know me, I'm always trying to improve. If you don't see me or you're hearing from me, I'm improving the stack. I'm improving production. I'm putting the money I make back into the fucking program. I believe in this. I want you to believe in this and support this. I was running analytics past somebody. They're very frustrating to deal with. You can't force it. You have to let it mature. It turns out, two different people I spoke to said our average watch time on this stream, this YouTube stream, is so high I had to be mistaken. Because that would put me in like the upper echelon of streams. And that's thanks to you. So thank you, every one of you. That's where the 300 comes in. We're not massive, but we're fucking fierce. And we will fucking eat your fucking face, bro. Know what I'm saying?
This is Sparta!
Yeah, baby. But I mean it, right? We funnel them in and we take them out with smarts and strategy, positioning and execution, risk management, preparation, work ethic, the things in our control. So, honestly, a real shout out to you. A real shout out to you. You're helping me really make this what I want it to be. Which I think is the best fucking baseball show, not on YouTube, in the fucking country, yo. In the country. Nobody doing it like we do. Nobody. So thank you all. It means a lot, right? That, again, we're the ones that stick are with us. That's who I want. I don't want a viral garbage and brain rot fucking filth and scumbags that don't understand shit. I'm not trying to do that. Okay, these are the people that understand. You're here for life. I care about you. You need me. I'm here for you. I got your back. You got mine. Let's go. JT Gent on the bump for the Atleticos. Plus 135 dog on the road against my boy, Emerson John Hancock. Now, Jin, he's been ridiculously good, right? Am I not mistaken? And he's always been effective on a permanent basis. I think he was a Met. And now I got to look up. I have too many question marks. And I have to be careful, right? I'm a pitching honk. Everybody knows that. I think I'm very good at pitching analysis. That's fine. Where I get in trouble sometimes is when I watch, and like especially the time I'm looking for something and I get it. I'm like I'm a total mark for it. I really am. So I want to just give Jin a little bit of love here. So yeah, he's been fantastic this year. He's walked a few too many batters. The ball is in the air a bit. It's a lot of contact, but he's keeping it down. He's been really good. Let's pop the hood again. We're making good time, and this is the last game. But these are the guys, those change of trajectory guys, like level up players. These are the ones that deserve the extra look, right? Because we may come to a conclusion where we're like, no. We don't want to fade this guy. We see something we like. Again, just like Elder. If you have people fading him on the big samples, they're going to get themselves in trouble, I think, because there's been a tangible and real change. As far as Jin goes, okay, he's cut down the sinker. That's always a good sign. More change-ups. We like that. I mean, he's still sinker first. But, it works for him. He's very good at controlling it, right? Not missing, always being down or out of zone. It's not a ton of velo. It's about 8 miles an hour from fastball to changeup. I like a little bit more than that. Pretty good spin disparity, though. And it does turn into whiffs on the change, which he uses versus lefties, which is also a good sign, right? We want our non-stanky righties, right? The guys that aren't throwing 98 fucking blinding filth. You need to be able to have something for lefties. If you don't have something for lefties, you're out. So just quickly, without turning this into a dissertation, we do like Jin, and he's really good. I think he's overperformed, but, right? It's not like Seattle's been good. Offense starting to get it going. We called that out. Shame on me for marrying myself, to narratives. I was thinking year-to-date stuff. This is overall. I scrolled back. Seattle batting .216. They're bottom 5 across the board. Bottom 5 strikeouts, bottom 5 swing and strike, bottom 5 zone contact, bottom 5 hard hit. They've been fucking terrible. But they're really talented. You got to give time for maturity. That's why we have time splits. It's not to say this is the answer, but to create another data point, like a level of understanding. And you could see it's improving, right? The 14 is better than the overall. The 7 is better than that. So that's the idea of moving averages, right? When you're plotting points with time and you're looking for how they intersect with each other, because intersection of a shorter time frame with a larger time frame is oftentimes a leading pattern indicator for fucking change. Holy crap, MVP, MVP. This is awesome. Oh, that's the chat I need. I gotta get some more WWF stuff. All right, so do I even have to do Hancock? I'm an Emerson Hancock fucking mark, obviously. He's like my guy. I guess it comes down to anything. It's what we think of the A's offense. They're starting to hit as well. I'm looking for a reason to not care. Though, man, athletics really starting to produce. The discipline is always that first part. Plus, they're getting lift, hard hit. We know there's homers here. Arg, yarg. It's a little bit pricey. Algo is giving me the nudge. Man. This feels like another one where I'm so dead set on the pitcher that I come blind to the under. This is something that I not only have had trouble with in the past, it got so bad I had to like make it known and then correct it. And I can't believe it's the end of April and it's just coming up again now. I try to have these if-thens, right? Series of conditionals when you board read, right? You've heard me say that even if we have a nice spread, I don't like to bet the F5 money line if the opposing team is over 2.5. That's not a case here, but just one of the conditions. And in this case, now, Seattle is a smidge high for the under, right? Because they're going to apply more threes. But this happens to me all the time where I fall in love with the pitching side, worried about backing from the offense, in which case your guy goes out and gives up 2, he shoved, right? He gives up 1, he shoved, but you could still lose that money line. So when you're confident, right, in your pitcher, but you're afraid of the backing, there's an right. That's in itself an under. I'm going to put the 4.5, but I'm a little bit sketched on it, frankly. You know, and that both teams are upticking. Both pitchers have been so good. The argument against the under is a regression play. But I still think it's the play nonetheless. You know, trust me, I want Seattle, but it's a little too pricey. I don't have the confidence. So that'll do it, everybody. Thanks for picking up what we're putting down here at Cork Stats. Jeff L up in the bitch. How did I forget, Jeff? My apologies, sir. Lo siento, mi gente. Sorry about that. Dre Fish up in the bitch. As always, appreciate all you guys. We got Marty here, new one. Appreciate all your work when you're on Kyle's channel. Had to come over and support your own show. That's hi on Marty's. Dude. Yo, familia, man. I am freaking touched. Seriously, people too much into themselves. You damn thief, meant to shout you out also. People taking their time to participate. This is the support. This shit matters. Mark Jordan, Money City Moniac is mashing. I had that on the sheet. Also, keep an eye. That's something Jay and I have been working on. I've been testing on my own. If you'll notice on the algo sheet, I actually corrected the base section. The collision emoji, right, the blast emoji, no longer says 2 bases. It's count those for 2 hit run ribbies. They are checking out. Total bases is really fucking tough. And you can look at those, right? Those are a great starting point for total bases, but they're dependent on the price. If a guy has the blast and it's plus 150 for total bases, yeah, go for it. That's different. If a guy has the blast and it's minus 140, we do not want that. We do not want that. Those are hit run ribby plays because those, I mean, it all makes sense. It's intuitive, but there's an implication of scoring, which has an implication of plate appearances, which all those things feed into hit run ribbies. So Jason says, John, talk me into Braves over 4.5 TT minus 110. Yo, brother, I'm on. That was the one. If I was better at running comments while I was actually hosting, because squirrel. 110, 100%. 1,000,000% we want that. 1 billion percent. That price is entirely too low. Brooklyn's own, shout him out. Top of the morning, fellas. Again, AM appreciates us all. He likes the Athletic Seattle F5 over. Look at that. We got a little bit of butting of the heads here. And I welcome that. You know, I'm never like, oh, I don't think you're going to get there. We have ticking up offenses. We had negative regression potentially for the pitchers. AM, I'll be honest, I think you're going to struggle to get there. But Again, 3-2 happens in a fucking blink, right? How many times? I'm on the 4.5. It's 0-0 bottom 5. Yeah. It's 1-0 bottom 5. Yeah. And then it collapses. And you're like, what the fuck? You got to just let it roll, let it mature, let it finish, and go about your business. So I appreciate all of you very, very deeply. Thanks for supporting the show. Let's get the fudge out of here. Hit me up on socials if you need anything. If you have any questions about the work, I have a little mini project that I want to add to the pitching splits. My guy Toast he cites XFIP, and I realized I have that. So I have split XFIP. I'm going to add that. I want to try and continue this bridge between myself and, again, the Source Network. If you're not listening, they run a midnight stream at midnight. I've been on here and there, but you follow them regardless. Yeah, they're really great. It's just like here. But because of the runtime of the show, like when it happens, they're ahead of every fucking bet. It's what it is. Imagine if we were doing this shit at midnight. We're ahead of every fucking line. The action hasn't happened yet. He's moving the damn lines, right? If you want to blame somebody for the overnight action, that's who you're blaming. And then I think if you come here and listen to that, if you're listening to these two shows throughout the day, no one's going to have you more prepped and like a pro. So enjoy the games, enjoy the day. And when we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. Support good people doing good work. And remember, when you work this hard, the winning feels a lot less like luck, yo. Peace.